It's so nice to finally meet you. If we want our children to thrive in the modern world, then there's a 300-year-old system we must upgrade today. I am Erika Twani, a software engineer by training, on a mission to upgrade the way children learn. You know, Carl Sagan once said, children have this innate curiosity that is little by little killed during school years. In kindergarten, they ask deep questions like, why do we have toes? Why is the moon round? What's the birthday of the world? And somewhere between 1st and 12th grade, that curiosity and self-direction are gone. And it's not just because of puberty. So since 1717, when the factory school model was conceived, schools divide students by age and grade to teach them the same content and expect them to regurgitate it in tests. It was a great innovation, but for a world very different from today. So off we went in our life journey, start our life journey at 5 in kindergarten, where teachers told us exactly what to do to be successful in life. The animals to paint, the books to read, the subjects to learn, the colleges to attend, and the jobs to choose. And all we had to do was to sit and wait for the next instruction. I'll give you the bad news first. Our brains are hacked. We learn to dismiss our deepest desires to fulfill the definition of success somebody else designed for us. Now, the good news is that our children can have a different experience because there is a way to foster their self-direction and curiosity superpowers. We can transform education worldwide without deleting the existing system. My team and I designed a simple approach schools can use today to harness that curiosity, natural learning process. So we call it learning autonomy, the ability to function with minimal external guidance. It's what your 1-year-old does naturally when she wants to walk and talk and eat and put the little finger in the electrical outlet all by herself. We use neuroscience principles to design a 6-step learning framework. Learning autonomy does not require a new curriculum, more teachers, insane investment, updated school policies, or even the coolest app, because it starts from something every student already has, a brain. So all we have to do is gradually get out of the kid's way. Here's an example of how learning autonomy happens. Students Laura and Julian were learning about environmental responsibility while exploring agriculture. So the first step is goal setting and planning, when students themselves state an intention, which increases the chance of achievement by 2 to 3 times. The second step is to explore how to connect this subject to previous knowledge. We accelerate learning new concepts when we are able to connect them to what we already know. Something as simple as, I heard deforestation impacts climate change. Laura and Julian had limited access to technology or books, so they conducted research by interviewing local farmers. This is by far the favorite step of most students because they must be creative to find answers. It's like becoming the MacGyver of learning. Unconventional solutions to learn, using the resources around you. Laura and Julian designed a comic to explain the concepts they learned. Then they invited other kids, created costumes, and played the comic so everyone could relate to their joint responsibility of preserving nature. Then, once all of that is done, they self-assess their performance in each step. And as they accomplish goals, they reinforce their "I can do this" attitude. So, all teachers and parents have to do is to plug in any subject to the 6 steps. And the more students practice learning autonomy, the more it becomes a habit. And our brains love habits. So, if a student wants to learn to play guitar, to invest in cryptocurrency, or even to learn a new profession in the future, They can do so because they have the blueprint to do it anywhere, anytime. Now, one may think that learning autonomy develops only cognitive skills, but the continuous self-improvement and self-reflection throughout the learning process also develops social-emotional skills like self-esteem, self-awareness, perseverance, and so on. When students are in the driver's seat, they learn to take control of the outcome, which is a huge intrinsic motivation booster. Research done by Columbia University concluded that the need for control is a biological imperative. When people believe they are in control, they work harder, they're more resilient, they push themselves more. We were running some webinar with students during the pandemic so they could share their experience. And one audience member asked, "How is a bad day for an autonomous learner?" And a 15-year-old answered, "Look, I have these feelings of depression and anxiety like any other kid, but I can recognize them and redirect them to focus on what really matters." For autonomous learners, social-emotional development is embedded in the learning process. So, how to transition from the education system as we know to learning autonomy? It's simple. Decide to do it and get it done. In our work with over 5,000 teachers in various countries, we saw that teachers can upgrade the way they teach today in less than one school year. Schools we work with have reported an average increase in reading comprehension by 40% per year, dropout rates close to zero, and 100% of curriculum coverage. Most of all, students are confident because they believe in themselves, and teachers are joyful again because they can realize their calling. And parents tell us that their children become better citizens of the house, for example, taking charge of household chores. Now, I'm very aware of the challenges we face in education. Teachers' compensation, learning loss, lack of resources, politicized school boards, to name a few. And the responsibility to solve those challenges are in the hands of a few. But I believe when children have the chance to lead their learning, many of these issues will vanish. I've seen it happening to thousands of students we impact every year. And being an autonomous learner is even more crucial in today's world as artificial intelligence drives our everyday use of technology. Here's why students prefer their phones to a teacher's lecture. With the apps we use today, everything is personalized to you. Your social media feed, your online shopping mall, your music list, dopamine is firing in your brain that grabs your attention, and there's this gratification, and you can even socialize with others, and you didn't even notice, but now you have this blend of chemicals in your brain. You become a hackable being, susceptible to customized ads, fake news, or whatever the apps decide for you. And these technologies are here to stay. The way we have a healthy coexistence with them is by developing cognitive control. So you're still exposed to all the good stuff. But now, because you are aware of it, you become a non-hackable being, an autonomous thinker and learner. The world has changed significantly from 300 years ago, and so have the problems we must solve. And here's our chance to bring 2 billion brains into the game by working with what children already have. And all we have to do now is give a first step towards developing children's learning autonomy and unleash a purpose-driven lifelong learning. Shall we get to work? Thank you.